At the outset, let me state for the record that I am not a botanist, plant biologist, horticulturalist, or florist, but an author, cinematographer, media arts specialist, licensed cultural practitioner, podcaster, and publisher who have a keen interest in how flowers appear on plants, which themselves are beneficial to our ecology and environment, especially my wife Magnola's garden at Torsby. According to avastflowers.net, I quote, "Studies have routinely found that with an increase in the number of plants comes improvement in air quality. So, planting trees, bushes and flowers is a great way to help make the environment a better place. Many plants reproduce through their flowers when pollination gets the reproductive cycle underway and seeds are produced. Plants produce much of the oxygen in our atmosphere through the process of photosynthesis. During the cycle of photosynthesis, plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air through their leaves. The study of flowers and flowering plants are known as anthology, and anthos means a flower and logia means collection. Botanists may spend time in exotic places discovering new and rare species of plants. Horticulturalists often spend their days working in greenhouses or in yards. Horticulturalists could have a knowledge of plants that is similar to botanists, but their job is to offer beautiful landscapes and flowers for households." End quote. This thinking excited my intellectual passions in the genre of flowers as a way of life. Therefore, as an author, cinematographer, media arts specialist, licensed cultural practitioner, podcaster, and publisher, equally a botanist, a plant biologist, a horticulturalist, and a florist. Notably, the context of this intellectual discourse has created an ideal environment for me to frame the Positivity, A Way of Life in Barbados, Volume 3, ISBN 978-976-96768-31, will be captured in 18 chapters in publication 238 and verbalized in podcast 127. Historically, Barbados, as an island country located in the southeastern Caribbean Sea, situated about 100 miles or 160 kilometers east of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Roughly triangular in shape, the island measures some 21 miles or 32 kilometers from northwest to southeast and about 14 miles or 25 kilometers from east to west at its widest point. The capital and largest town is Bridgetown, which is also the main seaport. The main difference between culture and tradition is that traditions describe a group's beliefs and behaviors that are passed down from one generation to another. According to Barbados.org, Barbados Traditions, I quote, "Barbados traditions are drawn from the West African and British cultures that shape the island. The majority of the population is of African descent. However, the island was a colony of the British Empire for over 300 years, so the English influence is very strong." End quote. Plausibly, because of this line of reasoning, Barbados is characterized as British and is sometimes referred to as Little England, though Little Britain might be better because the island also has strong Scottish roots. Today, the British influence can be seen everywhere in language, government, architecture, places of worship, behavior, and place names, for example, Buckingham Hill, Sussex, and Prince William Henry Street. Barbados formed a horticultural society in 1927 by a group of 13 horticultural enthusiasts led by Mr. H.N. Leacock, who was the first president, with a committee to run the society, which format continues to this day. The society was incorporated by an act of legislature on April 19, 1928. According to bgci.org, I quote, between the period 1950s to 2019, Andromeda Botanic Gardens Bathsheba, Hunt's Gardens Garden Coffee Gully, Barbados Flower Forest Botanical Gardens, Barbados National Botanical Gardens, and Petrie Gardens Botanical Garden Folkestone are established institutions holding documented collections of living plants for the purpose of scientific research, conservation, display, and education, which is now a way of life. Anturum, according to Artura, that can rebloom throughout the year. That's why it is an ideal plant for beginning plant owners. It needs minimal care and flowers for months at a time. Every newly formed leaf will have a new flower growing next to it. The real flowers of the Anturum consist of little bumps on the spadix. The function of the spathe is to protect the flowers. The Anturum comes from tropical America, and there are more than 600 species. The name Anturum is derived from two Greek words, antos, flower, and ora, tail. So, a literal translation of the name would be flowering tail, which is actually a very suitable choice considering the appearance of the plant. However, the Anturum is also known by many other popular names such as the flamingo flower, painted tongue, painter's palette, and Hawaii heart. Bougainvilleas were first recorded by the Europeans by French botanist Philibert Commercon in the 1760s. Bougainville, who was an explorer and whom Commercon had joined for an expedition around the world. Bougainvilleas grow 1 to 12 meters or 3 to 39 feet in height, depending on the species. Bougainvilleas are evergreen and grow well in warm to hot climates. They are generally white or cream colored and are sometimes overlooked as the papery bracts surrounding them easily distract with the vibrant colors of pink, white, orange, purple, or burgundy. Bougainvilleas need good drainage, are very hardy once established, can tolerate salty environments, and are not usually attacked by pests. Bromeliad comes with broad, succulent leaves and colorful foliage. Flowering only once in its entire lifetime. They are easy to grow indoors, and most species tolerate infrequent watering. They have beautiful forms, foliage and flowers, and reproduce consistently and rapidly. Few pests and diseases that attack them. Kana or Kana Lily have large foliage, so horticulturalists have developed selected forms as large flowered garden plants. They are also used in agriculture as a source of starch for human and animal consumption. The name Kana originates from the Latin word for a cane or reed. Since canas have very hard and durable seed coverings, seed remains likely would survive in the right conditions. If the soils of India or Africa had produced some of them, they would have been imported before the 1860s into European gardens. Celosia is a common garden ornamental plant in China and other places. It grows widespread across Mexico, where it is known as velvet flower. Northern South America, tropical Africa, the West Indies, Southeast and Southeast Asia, where it is grown as a native or naturalized wildflower and is cultivated as a nutritious leafy green vegetable. Though a very simple plant, Celosia does need moderate soil moisture and its species is more than 50. Crimson fountain grass is a C4 perennial bunch grass that is native to open, scrubby habitats in East Africa, tropical Africa, the Middle East and Southwestern Asia. It has been introduced to many parts of the world as an ornamental plant and has become an invasive species in some of them. It is drought tolerant, grows fast, reaches 3 feet in height, and has many purple plumose flower spikes. Fountain grass has been introduced to the Canary Islands, Sicily, Sardinia, southern Spain, Australia, South Africa, Hawaii, the western United States, southern Florida, and New Caledonia. It thrives in warmer, drier areas and threatens many native species, with which it competes very effectively. As an invasive species, it is employed within the precincts of recreational play area, especially in children's garden, and acts as a pollinator garden and used as a border attracting pollinators and songbirds. However, it is an invasive species. Coleus was first introduced into Europe from Java in 1851 by a Dutch horticulturalist. At this time, there were few leaf colors and shapes. A wider variety was available by 1877, when the American William Bull offered seeds at 43 US cents each. However, by selecting for seed production, early flowering was inadvertently favored and leaf color also declined in intensity. Coleus breeding revived in the early 1940s, and by the 1980s, the availability of an improved range of cultivars led to Coleus becoming the 10th most important bedding crop in the US. More recently, vegetative propagation has enabled cultivars with novel leaf colors and shapes to be offered for sale. Desert rose is native to Africa, the Middle East, and Madagascar. It is well known for its beautiful flowers and thick succulent stem. The desert rose is not, in fact, a rose. It is an evergreen, slow-growing stem, succulent, gaining less than 12 inches per year. It can be grown as an outdoor or an indoor plant, depending on the climate of the place where it is grown. It is easy to grow and requires little maintenance, as it can tolerate heat and drought. The desert rose grows to a height of 3 to 9 feet tall with a spread of 3 to 5 feet. It is a thick-stemmed succulent plant with few leaves, according to Nithya Venkat. Hibiscus is a genus of flowering plants in the mallow family. There are about 220 different species of hibiscus in the world, and each variety differs in size, shape, and color. Hibiscus is native to warm, temperate and tropical regions. It tends to grow in wet or swampy areas. The leaves are alternate, ovate to lanceolate, often with a toothed or lobed margin. Hibiscuses are renowned for their large, showy flowers. The flowers are large, conspicuous, trumpet-shaped with 5 or more petals, color from white to pink, red, orange, peach, yellow or purple, and from 4 to 18 centimeters or 1.6 to 7 inches broad. Hibiscus plants provide important ecological, aesthetic, culinary and medicinal values. Many species are grown for their showy flowers or used as landscape shrubs and are used to attract butterflies, bees and hummingbirds. Ecologically, the large hibiscus flowers provide nectar to pollinators. The name hibiscus comes from Hibiscos, the Old Greek name for the common marshmallow. Lantana, genus of more than 150 shrubs native to tropical America and Africa and belonging to the verbena family. Common lantana is a weed in tropical America, but elsewhere it is much used as a garden plant. It blooms almost continuously with yellow, orange, pink and white flower heads in various color combinations. The aromatic leaves are rough and oval. Clusters of poisonous black berries follow the flowers. Trailing lantana from South America is a small-leaved, thinly branched species that bears rose lavender flowers. Syndium orchids are species that does not have a common name. Members of the orchid genus Syndium are often referred to as dancing ladies or dancing dolls because the long sprays of flowers resemble groups of ballet dancers. They are also called butterfly orchids because of the floral resemblance of the colorful insects and their tendency to flutter in a breeze. It grows on other plants, such as the crotches of tree limbs, but does not derive nutrition from or harm its host in any way. The species blooms in the spring, producing long, up to 5 feet stalks, bearing many flowers. This species displays the most prevalent flower colors found in the genus Syndium: yellow, spotted and barred with reddish brown. Syndium orchids are insect pollinated. Dilunics Regia, originally from Madagascar, a small island off the coast of Mozambique that is home to a number of intriguing flora and fauna such as Lumerus and Fossa. It has been widely planted in the Caribbean and southern North America, where the environment of full sun and well-drained moist soil suits it well. They grow tall and fast. Flamboyant trees can grow to a height of 40 feet and a width of 40 to 60 feet. Solandra is a genus of flowering plants in the nightshade family. Solanacea is named after the Swedish naturalist Daniel C. Solander. The vines it contains are commonly known as Shirley's vines and are native to the Caribbean, Mexico, and South America. They have very large flowers and glossy foliage, also called cup of gold. Spider lily is a simply beautiful bulb flower, sometimes also called sea daffodil or Peruvian daffodil. The white spider lily is unique and quite elegant. This plant reveals a very beautiful blooming during the entire summer season. It requires heat to grow in full earth. That's why growing it in warmer oceanic climates is common. This flower bulb plant is 32 inches or 80 centimeters and can be exposed to the full sun or part sun. It can be cultivated ordinarily, well-drained soil. Its foliage sheds its leaves annually and is noted for flowering from June to October. The national flower of Barbados is the Pride of Barbados. The Pride of Barbados blooms all year round. The more common varieties are a fiery red and yellow sunset color, although other variations can be found. The national flower is accepted as the red variety with the yellow margin on the petals. Kniphofia is named after Johann Hieronymus Kniphofs, an 18th century German physician and botanist. The genus was first described as a genus in 1794. Its species are native to Africa. The flowers produce copious nectar while blooming and are attractive to bees and sunbirds. In the New World, they may attract nectivores such as hummingbirds and New World orioles. Flowers have long been appreciated for bringing beauty to their surroundings, medicinal purposes, romance, ritual, as well as healthy source of food, from the famous roses to daffodils. Flowers have their part in history. There are also myths surrounding flowers. According to endnotes.com, I quote, "Myths entertain and educate. They are there to explain traditions or values or beliefs in every culture." End quote. For example, sugar keeps flowers fresh. When a plant is uprooted or when a flower is plucked from the plant, they begin to wilt. Never sleep with flowers in your bedroom. Pets and flowers do not get along, and seasons do not matter. Flowers are also part of culture. People begin their days by offering flowers to their deity, watering their indoor plants, be it a wedding, worship, or medicinal practices. Flowers form an integral part of living in Indian culture and tradition. Of note, flowers, as it turns out, are surprisingly recession-proof. They serve as a tangible symbol of good cheer and, as previously mentioned, are seen as something of an obligation for loved ones at holidays. It is reported that flowers are produced and exported by many countries for various purposes. To put it succinctly, although the reason could be different from one country to another, yet the flowers are used in the manufacturing of green tea, perfumes, essential oils, and many other products, which is also a way of life. Anturum, Bougainvilleas, bromelae, Kana or Kana Lily, celosia, crimson fountain grass, coleus, desert rose, Dilunics Regia, Hibiscus, lantana, Syndium, Pride of Barbados, and Solandra are such a beauty amongst us. We use them to beautify our worlds and lives. They add essence and meaning to our lives and make our lives beautiful and a lot happier by their presence. Is a way of life in Barbados. Finally, I must confess that through my lens, I have analyzed and concluded that each flower discourse in this scholarly conversation is socially, historically, and culturally embedded in a wide array of pattern behaviors, beliefs, attitudes, and their meanings, can be interpreted. A Way of Life in Barbados, Volume 3, ISBN 978-976-9676831, was captured and framed in 18 chapters in publication 238 and verbalized in podcast 127.